and welcome to News Round, a recap of stories that made headlines during the week. The top stories. Nigerian army takes responsibility for Sunday's airstrike that left many villagers dead and several others injured at Tudun, Biri village in Kaduna State. Senate President Godswill Akpabio warns ministries, departments and agencies against laxity in budget defense. House of Representatives hosts Citizens Town Hall on 2024 budget, a week after President Bola Tinubu presents his proposal to the National Assembly. Plus, UN chief rings alarm bell on global security threats from Gaza war. That's News Round in View. An unconfirmed number of people were killed in an airstrike carried out by the Nigerian army at Tudun Biri village in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. The incident was said to have occurred around 9 p.m. on Sunday when the villagers gathered for the Maulud celebration. A source familiar with the incident told our correspondents that the villagers were mistakenly bombed in the airstrike as they were believed to be bandits who were migrating from neighboring Zamfara state to camp in Tudun Biri village.
The Kaduna State government this morning has received briefings on Sunday night attack, which left several citizens dead and others injured at Tudun Biri in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. In the meeting, which was presided by Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Dr. Hadiza Sabwa Balarabe, which had in attendance heads of security agencies, religious and traditional leaders. The Nigerian army explained the circumstances which led to the unfortunate and unintended attack. The GOC 1 Division, Nigerian Army, Major General V.U. Okoro, explained that the Nigerian army was on a routine mission against terrorists, but unfortunately, some members of the Tudun Biri community were affected. Search and rescue efforts are still ongoing as dozens of injured victims have been evacuated to Barrow Diko Teaching Hospital by the government. Like I explained to you, the search and rescue efforts are still ongoing. We will communicate to members of the press further development as we receive. We are sad by this unfortunate incident, and Kaduna State government, under the leadership of Senator Obasani, has condoled members of the entire community.
In the meantime, the representatives of the Tudun Biri village who were also at the meeting said the government has apologized over the incident.
Well, actually accepted that this is an act of God. So we actually believe that it's not a deliberate incident. So when such incident happens, definitely you will not see people. You will not see people. Even before these incidents, a lot of the villagers have fled because of this bandit issue. So it's not a situation that people are fleeing right now. Even before this time, they've been fleeing. So it's the issue of these bandits. We have appealed to the government to see to that, to assist the people in that regards.
In the aftermath of Sunday's deadly military airstrike in Tudun, Biri village, Kaduna State, an operation which left in its wake about 85 deaths, families of the victims are being given the assurance that their plight is acknowledged at the highest level of defense leadership. And this is coming from the Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa and the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, who visited the injured at the hospital in Kaduna. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who was also part of the visit, described the airstrikes conducted by the Army as regrettable and unintended. While empathizing with those receiving medical attention at the hospital, Lieutenant General Lagbaja promised to support those injured while a proper investigation is launched into the sad incident.
Sunday, December the 3rd, is a day residents of Tudun Biri community in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State will never forget. On that day, the joyful gathering for the Maulud celebration to mark the birth of Prophet Muhammad turned awry, as no fewer than 80 residents of the community were mistakenly killed and 70 others injured in an air bombardment carried out by the army drone that was on a routine mission against terrorists and bandits in the area. Among the most affected are women and children who are still at the emergency unit of Barau Diko Teaching Hospital in the Angwa Rimi area of Kaduna Metropolis. One of them was said to have died on Tuesday morning.
So the aeroplane has through this bomb 2 times. The first one have killed many people, and we just go around, we just pass away, and within few time we come back. We are trying to gather our people, those who are looking for the first aid, and then the aeroplane come back again and throw the bomb again.
We have a total of 71 patients that were brought in. Of this 71, one died last night. So we have about 70 currently with us on admission.
The Nigerian army has accepted responsibility for the attack at Tudun Biri village, and the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, is at the Barau Diko Hospital to commiserate with the victims. He also visits the community where the incident occurred. The army chief, who made a 10 million naira donation to the victims, describes the incident as unintended and unfortunate, assuring that such mistake will never occur again.
I've gone around to visit and interact with the members of the community. I've come again now to the hospital to see the injured, and this will help me to know the level of expertise that I need to put on the table in conducting the inquiry into what happened on Sunday, so that that inquiry can come up with relevant recommendations that will guide us in the conduct of our operations going forward.
The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, also visited the hospital to commiserate with the survivors of the attack. He says the setback will not in any way dampen the morale of security forces in the ongoing war against bandits and terrorists.
Come to this hospital to visit the victims of this unfortunate incident that happens of bombing at Tudun Biri in the local government of Kaduna State, which we have assessed some of the victims, we have seen them, and the ministry will take care and charge of all the bills of these victims. And arrangement is going to be made to make sure that these incidents will never occur again, inshallah.
Meanwhile, the Kaduna State Government delegation, led by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Adizat Balarabe, also visited the community, and some residents shared their experience on what transpired and what they want the government to do for them.
The Malam that was supposed to lead the prayers has not arrived, and I was eating in my house. since the prayer ground is in front of my house. Suddenly, we heard a loud sound, and my wife asked me what was that sound. Immediately, my neighbor's son was brought in with his legs cut off. We rushed out to find so many corpses on the floor, some dead, some injured.
I
asked, when would they have their Maulud prayers? And they said, on Sunday. I decided to come join them while I was eating 5 minutes to the stipulated time. The bomb landed at the exact spot. When it happened, you would think that insecticide was used on some unwanted insects. Mostly children and women were killed. Within 15 minutes, the second bomb exploded, this time killing elders and older men.
After that, the Deputy Governor and our entourage were around the site where the victims of the airstrike were buried. Prayers were offered for the repose of their souls, just as the state government promised to support the survivors.
Continue to douse tension instead of coming here to come and create some kind of tension. We're appealing to everybody that is here to find a way, to talk to, especially the youth, because they're usually the ones that have been used by people who are outside of this community to cause confusion.
While the Nigerian army has accepted responsibility for the aerial attack and the government promising to support the survivors, it's however hoped that the military authorities will go back to the drawing board and review its operational strategies and ensure that its personnel are adequately trained to operate with optimal precision in order to mitigate cases of collateral damage during such operations.
Away from Kaduna State now, President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, is warning that federal lawmakers will not tolerate any laxity from ministries, departments and agencies during the budget defense session. Senator Akpabio issued the warning at a Senate retreat on the 2024 appropriation bill. He adds that the lawmakers are committed to working towards maintaining the January to December budget cycle.
On appropriations.
It's the Senate stakeholders retreat on the 2024 appropriation bill, a prerequisite participatory process before the commencement of the budget defense by ministries, departments and agencies. How to deliver improved outcomes for the 2024 budget is at the heart of conversations here, as the Senate cautions against any lapse by the federal agencies that will thwart the existing budget cycle.
Can we pass the budget in record time? A lot depends on the ministers, the MDAs, and the revenue spenders. If you don't come on time to defend your estimates, there is no way we can pass the budget on time. Plug the loopholes of leakages and wastages, and then bring more revenue so that the 2024 budget will become realistic.
It is very important that we all work together to ensure that we return this budget as soon as possible so that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can sign it into law by 31st of December of this year, and it can come into operation from 1st of January of 2024.
It was a stark reminder of the nation's economic reality as the ministers, civil society, as well as the keynote speaker outline areas of focus.
Nigeria's fiscal space is exhausted. And the solution, as you probably heard earlier today, is that we have to focus on the concessional funding. We use the financial markets to take the stress, our fiscal stress, down.
We kept talking about revenue and debt. We never mentioned assets. We never mentioned equity. Let's focus on what we own and how we can leverage what we own to solve the problems that come.
I would like to call on the National Assembly to really be a bit more ambitious, Mr. Chairman, to make sure that we don't wait until 2026 to lower inflation rate to 18%. In fact, it should be next year as much as possible, because inflation erodes income, and is taking toll on the cost of living.
After the conversations to kickstart 1 week of budget defense sessions, the President of the Senate calls for a minute's silence for victims of the Kaduna village accidental bombing.
The Senate has expressed determination not only to expedite passage of favourable laws to the Nigerian people, but have also undertaken to conduct proper oversights of finances and projects, particularly to advance the outcome of Nigeria's revenues. From the National Assembly, Gloria Omezuke, Channels Television News.
And when News Round returns, UN chief rings alarm bell on global security threat from Gaza war. That's after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The state of Nigeria's oil installations in the Niger Delta has been described as calamitous, with 4,800 illegal connections on the pipelines. That's according to the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, Mr. Mele Kyari, who appeared before the Senate Joint Committee on Appropriations, probing over 11 trillion naira expenditure on turnaround maintenance of refineries in the country between 2010 and 2023.
In continuation of its budget defense sessions, the Senate Committee on Appropriation meets officials from the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, as well as the Federal Inland Revenue Service, among other agencies.
Consolidated Revenue Fund of
the legislators took up the Ministry of Finance on the process for the issuance of tax waivers as incentives, demanding a halt of the existing procedure for such.
I will return to that story subsequently. In the meantime, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Abbas Tajuddin, is promising that the House will review the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 to strengthen existing provisions to improve access to information and public consultation during all phases of the budget cycle. The Speaker stated this during a town hall meeting organized by the House to collate citizens' input into the 2024 budget.
As the budget defense process commences, the House of Representatives holds a first-of-its-kind Citizens' Town Hall to gather input for the 2024 budget. This comes a week after the House held a similar engagement with Chairman and Deputy Chairman of the committees.
In exercising its powers of coordinating the appropriation process, the committee will always maintain an open-door policy to accommodate the interests of stakeholders in making the process more credible, people-oriented, and veritable instrument toward good governance.
Citizens have not had it this bad in recent times, so the expectation is that the National Assembly will do a very good job of trimming out the wastages. I think part of the problem with our national budget is that there are repetitions of wastages year in, year out.
The focus will be on strategic investment in defense, strategic investment in security, health, job creation, poverty reduction, food security, infrastructure development, and education, among other key factors.
A former appropriations chairman of the Senate emphasizes the power of the purse bestowed on the National Assembly.
When you hear people saying padding is an embarrassment language, the executive led by Mr. President in that section 81 stated that the president will bring forth estimates. What we have now is estimates of 2024 provision budget. The National Assembly, in their heart, will give the Nigerian public, will give the president, everybody, the budget of the Federation.
The event is declared open by the Speaker as he harps on the importance of sustaining the initiative.
The House of Representatives has taken the lead in facilitating greater citizens' participation in budget process, and I challenge all MDAs to do the same. On our part, the House will review the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 to strengthen existing provisions, to improve access to information and public consultation during all phases of the budget. Specifically, we'll amend the FRA to require and define public participation explicitly in any budget engagements.
The House believes that this town hall meeting will help understand the needs of citizens better as it hopes to pass a people-centric budget in the coming weeks. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Very much for that.
And still with the lower house, the House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters has expressed displeasure over the failure of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to honor the invitation of the committee for its budget defense. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Adebayo Balogun, says no communication was received from the commission explaining the absence of the INEC chairman.
As the budget defense gets underway, that which was feared has already begun to happen. As in the past, the absence of heads of ministries, departments and agencies is observed. Members of the House Committee on Electoral Matters, after waiting for over an hour for the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, appear to have had enough.
It's rather unfortunate that the management of INEC is not yet here, and this is not a good way to start a new administration, not with the marching order given that by Mr. President that he wants the budget speedily treated, and they've not been able to communicate, and that's make it even worse.
May I please give my indulgence that from the chair, we use this medium to give INEC a definite date on when they should appear. And a warning.
We don't want to give another date in public now, and now find out that that day won't be visible. So let's go deliberate and look for another visible date.
In the meantime, while some committees have commenced the budget defense, others hold inaugural meetings.
We will closely scrutinize the Nigerian Customs revenue collection and remittance processes to ensure that all custom duties and levies are promptly accounted for and remitted into the Federation accounts. We must strive to balance the need for revenue collection with the facilitation of legitimate trade, while also ensuring that our borders remain impenetrable to illicit goods and activities.
In addition to providing substantial support to the blue economy, a sector that significantly contributes to our national revenue. Hence, it is imperative that we exercise our legislative oversight over the Navy's general activities and operations.
The House had created over 20 new committees, which the Speaker believes would enhance the oversight function of the House. This number is expected to further boost the speed and thoroughness of the process leading to the passage of the budget. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
And now we return to the Senate. The state of Nigeria's oil installations in the Niger Delta has been described as calamitous, with 4,800 illegal connections on the pipelines. That's according to the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, Mr. Mili Kyari, who appeared before the Senate Joint Committee on Appropriations, which is probing over 11 trillion naira expenditure on turnaround maintenance of refineries in the country between 2010 and 2023.
The Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriation.
48 hours after a summon by the Senate, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPCL, Mr. Mili Kyari, appears before the Joint Committee on Appropriations.
Member of this noble committee.
He begins with an apology for failing to meet the 24 hours deadline.
We see it as a great privilege sitting before you and to answer your questions, and also to particularly apologize for appearing today rather than on Wednesday. I didn't know that there would be a sitting of this committee on Wednesday before I traveled for COP28.
He then responds to a number of questions on the company's operations and the nation's refineries.
You have over 4,800 illegal connections on our pipeline. That means in some lines, within 100 kilometers of pipeline, Mr. Chairman, you will have as much as 300 insertions. Therefore, even when you produce the oil, you cannot deliver them at the required pressure, and therefore the volume will also be lost. What is happening to the gold that everyone rushes, exactly this is what is happening in the Niger Delta. People are coming from all parts of the country to create their own bonfire. That's what he meant, the illegal refineries.
He's also quizzed on the manifest benefits of the fuel subsidy removal.
what is going to be the benefit to Nigerians.
This went up, but it's also coming down. And therefore, there is substantial value in the removal of such. So it is possible that you can have reduction in prices once you start producing locally. But what I meant is that that's not the key objective. Our happiness is that we will produce product, we will sell it at market, we will not lose money, and this refinery will pay for itself.
It was a no-holds-barred session as the committee continued to probe.
What is your take on the NIT reports? Some data, figures that are mind-boggling, that calls for questioning and putting on red alerts as to why we should continue to investigate this sector.
You see a number of issues historically around NNPC took $11 billion, 13 billion. You know, you see all these figures in the media. They may be correct. You say, well, NNPC did not remit. Yes, it's correct. But they won't add the other part of it that NNPC did not receive any payment for subsidy. And the question around why do we adjust the production to 1.8 million, I still advise that we stay in the submissions by Mr. President.
He affirms that the company has paid 406 billion naira as dividend to the federal government account from July to November 2023. The company is expected back at the National Assembly to answer questions on the expenditure for the turnaround maintenance of the nation's refineries. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And outside our shores, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres made a rare move, invoking Article 99 of the founding UN Charter to formally warn the Security Council of a global threat from the Gaza war, as Arab states seek to leverage that to renew a push for the Council to call for a ceasefire. Guterres told the Council in a letter that the Gaza war may aggravate existing threats to international peace and security. And that's it on News Round. Thank you for watching. Join us again at the top of the hour for updates. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.